What's going on, guys? Matt with MotoWorks here, and in today's video, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, I put this up on my Instagram as well as Facebook page. A little bit of a fun thing that I wanted to do with you guys out there. It's basically you guys diagnose what the issue is, and then I'll go through and show you what the issue is and see if you got it right. If you didn't get a chance to check that video out, I'll give you a brief summary of what's going on here. This bike behind me is a Kawasaki BN125, and they call it the Eliminator. This bike had an issue where the bike would not rev up unless you beep the horn. Here's a little clip of that. That's definitely a weird scenario. When I worked in a shop, I didn't get people that came in and said that, oh, my bike only revs up when I beep the horn. A lot of times with this, the actual complaint on this bike is my bike won't accelerate, or the bike just will not go. I kind of helped those of you out that watched that video by beeping the horn. I kind of directed you more to what the issue was by making that video. So some of you actually had the correct answer, and some of you were on the correct path as to what the issue was. We're going to go over how to diagnose issues on a motorcycle now with this video. That's why it's titled the way it is. So this is the proper way that I found to diagnose issues on a motorcycle. Let's get started now. Alright guys, now the very first place you start in any type of diagnostics is the battery. There's a lot of issues motorcycles can have that directly result to the battery either being too weak of a charge and the battery itself needs to be replaced so it's not holding its charge anymore. Battery terminals. The terminals on the battery over time can loosen up, and loose terminals can cause a lot of issues, especially maybe not so much the issue this bike has in particular, but it is always something you want to check. So we're going to check the terminals, and we're also going to check the condition of this battery. Alright, so the very first thing we want to do is pull the battery, and we want to actually test that battery. Now, if you don't have the luxury of having a battery tester, which is what this is, you can pull that battery, take it to an auto parts store, a battery warehouse, somewhere that deals specifically with batteries, and they'll put it on a battery tester. And what this machine or piece of equipment does is it actually puts a load on the battery and measures the battery's health condition, and it does it in cold cranking amps is what it will spit out. All right. If the battery tests good, we will then install it back into the bike and make sure that our battery terminals are nice and secure when doing so. Now, if you don't have a battery tester, the next best option, which I'll show you guys on this bike in particular. All right, so after we made sure that we tightened those battery terminals, you can use a multimeter and set it to volts DC, because that's what we want to measure on the battery. And then what we're looking for is anything above 12.5 volts is considered a good battery in my book. There, hopefully you're picking this up. But this bike's battery has about 12.7, somewhere in there, volts. So this battery is a good battery. Now, the next step is to actually check and see what this motorcycle is putting out as charging voltage. All right, so we're going to actually now test the charging system. Since we are in here and we are checking the battery, it's the next, I don't want to say logical step, but it's the next step in the process in diagnosing what we have going on here with the motorcycle. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the exhaust system. I don't want to breathe in exhaust fumes. And then we're going to check to see at what voltage the battery is charging at. Alright guys, so I think we found the issue with this bike. As you can see, we were hitting peak voltage output to the battery at about 17 volts. Normal charging system should be no more than 14.5 to say 15 volts on the high end. So I would say what's happening is the battery is overcharging, and when you actually beep the horn, or as you saw there, you also could hit the starter button, which is what I did. And you saw when I hit the starter button, the starter took a lot of that extra voltage away to use the starter, and it brought the voltage down to a more manageable 12 to 13 volts, in which then the bike was able to be revved up at that point. So we know we now have a charging system issue. Check out the next video on how we actually diagnose what is wrong with the charging system on this bike. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, leave a comment below. I'm Matt. This is Motorworks. Thanks to you guys for subscribing. We'll see you in the next video.